So in the weekend, I had some goals I had, and I was able to accomplish most of them. Filmed two videos for the YG Cooking channel. My sister's helping me edit those. I was able to learn Notion, mow the lawn, figure out the subtitle stuff, as well as cleaning up the kitchen and making it a lot less cluttered. So that was good. On Monday, let's look at my weekly to-do list. On Monday, I went to the office to return my laptop. I vacuumed the house, and I worked on the MVP for the property management company. And my laptop actually came in, so I set that up. I ran into some roadblocks for the MVP for Dataverse because Dataverse is acting strange. So one thing was getting the many-to-many relationship to work. Essentially, what I had to do was add a subgrid to each of the forms for the tables so that they could relate many to many. After figuring that out, it was mostly just trying to refresh the page. Like the setting itself should be correct. There's nothing too complicated with model-driven app there, but Microsoft was just pooping out. And then the second thing was getting the lookup view to work. So specifically when a user is looking up a record, they'll see like, I don't know, long 0001, which doesn't actually tell them what that means. So I need to add things like the value, the deposit, the rent, the date, information like that, so that when a user is searching for a lookup record, they know the related columns, not just the primary key, because that doesn't really provide that much value. I'm trying to figure that out, and the setting is good. It's just Microsoft not working with me, and I need to figure that out. Yesterday, on Tuesday, I attended Gallup at Work. This was something I randomly decided to sign up. It was about $400. I saw in my email and I just signed up. And I would say that it was actually very useful. So the event started with the networking. I had to wake up at 7 a.m. Usually I'm not a mornings person, but I woke up and I did that. So I was able to connect with a lot of managers. I think a lot of the attendees to Gallup at Work Summit are management and leaders. So I was able to meet a lot of them and connect with them, get their contact information. I actually even emailed a couple of them asking for a free consultation for them if they're interested. That's the networking event. For the rest of the day, I attended breakout sessions to learn about different things. Let's just take a look at some of the things I did. First one was how to interview top talents. I think this is important as a entrepreneur for myself if I were to hire talents down the line, as well as recognizing even for myself what makes a good talent. The next one is strength and sync. There's this concept of Clifton Strength that Gallup at Work, Gallup has developed. Essentially, it's an assessment that you take and it ranks your top strength. And this breakout talked about how do you build a team with a variety of strengths. So if we think about it, let's say I haven't taken the assessment yet, but let's say I am a achiever and I am a learner and I am a activator. That means I need to look for people that complement my strength. So I should be looking for people, let's say, that is more woo, which is people person, maybe empathetic, maybe responsibility. You know, they take accountability, just things like that where you can build out your team. There's kind of like this metric, a grid where each name is on the top and then the skills on the side, and then you kind of rank them and see what your team looks like. So I think that's a pretty interesting concept. I'm probably going to go take that assessment myself just to get some personal insight on what my strengths are and what I can do with them. Although I do think that this framework probably works best if you have everyone on your team take it. Very smart from Gallup that they developed this. Easy to sell, right? Because You have one person who has your strength. You can't really do much with it. You want your whole team to take it. I mean, it provides value, but it's also a really good business product. So something to think about. Try to get my mind to become more of a producer than a consumer. Next one is Beyond Critique, the Power of Meaningful Feedback. Very interesting. The presenter talked about how do we give feedback that are also meaningful. A scenario would be, he talked about we have Harry, who is more of a woo person, more of a people person, likes to include the audience. And then we have Sally, who's an achiever and analytical person who is trying to hit all the information, hit the bullet points on the presentation. And when they present together, they're both not happy. So they go back to their managers and they talk about what their experiences are. You know, Harry would say, okay, Sally's being too analytical. She's just trying to hit the points. She's not letting me interact with the audience. And Sally would say something like, oh, Harry's just trying to talk to the audience. He's not covering all the material. And the manager would then tell them both to, you know, give feedback. So if you're Harry, you need to give feedback to Sally, and Sally needs to give feedback to Harry. And I think the idea is you have two people with completely different strengths, and they don't know how to work together. But if you can imagine, if they can pull their strength together, you would actually achieve a much better result. So a perfect presentation would be somebody that would connect with the audience, but also present wonderful information. You can't really have an excellent presentation without both. Next one is understanding evolution in the workplace. So, you know, with the Gen Z, young 20s coming to the workplace, what are some of the trends that's going on and how do we adapt to that? It was more for you know, people joining organizations and how do they want to build a career. Very interesting. There's a lot of breakout sessions that I missed, but the good thing is I can actually go back and watch them all again. They're going to be recorded and saved, and the material I can download, the slides I can download. So I think for $400, this was a very good investment. There are also some pretty awesome keynote speakers. I was able to see an interview conducted by the Gallup CEO, John, with the Accenture executive of human resource. And they had a very insightful interview about how Accenture manages 750,000 employees and how they can become more diverse and keep their employees more engaged. I think that's, at the end of the day, that's a really important thing, because part of the reason why I left my organization was because I was not engaged. I did not see a path for me to move forward. Nobody really asked for my feedback. I didn't know what my performance metrics are. Everything was just kind of flying around. And when I tried to push something, it just got blocked. So I didn't feel like I had any opportunities there. Okay, so that was Gallup at Work. It was very interesting. Next year, if I could, I want to actually go in person. Something interesting is that they have a raffle system where if you do surveys, you have a potential to win a ticket for in person. I think I did like 6 or 7 surveys, so fingers crossed for that, right? Anyways, one more thing I want to talk about is a potential business idea. So right now I am, you know, emailing people I know. I'm emailing YouTubers, and I'm emailing the YJ Massage email list just to say, okay, I'm an IT consultant. You know, I help businesses organize their data. I build custom apps for that. And then I can also create dashboards and reports to analyze your data and give you key insights. So that's all good. I'm going to continue doing that because that will practice my communication skills as a consultant, talking to clients, as well as my techno skill of actually creating that solution. So that's good. I'm going to continue doing that. But another thing I thought of is actually creating a marketplace. So what this is going to be is it's going to connect these independent Microsoft experts with businesses that need their help. Why am I doing this? It's because I heard from one of my friends. He runs a IT consulting agency, and one of his pain point was when he goes in and does the initial consultation and doing quotes, it's actually a very involved process because each client has their specific needs, and it's actually very difficult to just say, oh, it's going to cost this much or this many hours until you actually do a deep dive, right? That's a pain point. And then on the business side, how do they find consultants they trust? How do they find consultants that will actually do the work and do it good? That's why I'm thinking that this marketplace could be interesting. Essentially, I'm going to be the middleman to connect them, and I'm going to provide more value by adding an AI API like ChatGPT to allow the client to type in and describe in detail what their use case is. And then I'll have ChatGPT spit out like a requirement documentation with pictures and stuff if possible. And I can hand that to the Microsoft experts, and then that will save them a lot of work. And if they want to go one step further, me and my partners can actually do the audit ourselves in person. So basically we have two tiers. We have an AI, you just type in whatever you need and it'll spit something out. Or you need something more in depth, there's a bigger project, we can be the middleman to go and do that work of auditing the consultation, the initial consultation, doing that estimation, giving you a quote. And then we can have all of that and plaster it onto like a posting or something. So when a Microsoft expert goes and looks through the postings for jobs and projects they want to take, they don't actually have to go do that. We've already provided that service. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. The next step is to validate my business idea. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try and contact as many Microsoft experts as I can through LinkedIn. It's very easy to search them up. Just ask them, okay, I'm thinking of providing the service as a middleman. What do you think? You think this provides value? What are your pain points? That kind of stuff. And then on the business side, I actually think that's a little bit easier because there are already a lot of consulting businesses that have clients. So I think it's just a matter of getting them to jump onto our platform, and then they'll just follow suit, right? It should be easier than connecting, than validating that idea from the expert side. It's really about getting them to jump on. So that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm just going to validate my idea and we'll see where that takes us. Yeah, that's about it.